Xi Jinping was the establishment candidate for the leadership. He comes from a very prominent family. He's one of the red aristocracy. He grew up in a privileged household. He suffered in the Cultural Revolution, as did his father, but he was always part of an elite. And the Americans put together a very interesting file on him as he rose through the leadership, which said that he was one of those who believed he was born to rule, entitled to rule. Uh, he felt that he was one of the heirs of the communist founders. That doesn't mean that he's an isolated figure. He's not like the Kims in North Korea or Saddam Hussein in Iraq. He's someone who has traveled. He went to the United States as a relatively young politician. The family he stayed with remember him warmly. He knew Hong Kong very well. I interviewed Donald Tsang, the former chief executive, who told me of driving around Hong Kong with Xi Jinping on his visits and finding him very knowledgeable about business, about powerful families, about politics, well informed. We also know that he's been open minded enough to allow his daughter, Mingzhe, to go to Harvard and study there. I have no doubt that she went back to Beijing and discussed with her father all the things she heard at Harvard. So this is a man who is promoting a very Chinese Marxist Leninist political vision. But he is also someone who, in his own life, knows the outside world. And in a way, although all dictators become vulnerable, we can have a certain sense of reassurance in that he is more likely to be a realist when it comes to China's risks and rewards than somebody who is completely isolated.
Do you believe that he will become ever more powerful during this third term?
Xi Jinping got to the top because he was the candidate who represented stability and the removal of risk, the risk to the party's authority, risks of corruption, the downsides of globalization and economic turmoil. So he has learned on the way to the top and in his years at the top that the avoidance of rash adventures and extreme moves has been critical to China's success and prosperity. We get to the point, however, in all episodes of single man rule where the risk turns on the person themselves. So the question is, would he risk a military adventure if he thought that, for example, there was a confrontation brewing in the straits between Taiwan and the mainland? Obviously, the truthful answer is we don't know. But right now, as things stand, I think we do know that a military conflict could not possibly be in China's interests. It could be in Xi Jinping's interests if he felt his position was under threat. So, historically, dictators have resorted to foreign adventures to make up for the inadequacies of their own rule and their own mistakes. Hopefully, we're not there with China. And also, China still has quite a strong collective component to its leadership. There is a standing committee, there is a Politburo, there are voices, there are factions, and while there is a personality cult around Xi Jinping, we don't see any evidence as yet that he has acquired the complete autocratic powers that accrued to Mao Zedong.